Welcome back to the Three Bears podcast, where we want to help you navigate your life and ministry for total balance in your everyday. I'm Peyton.
I'm Jason. I'm Dad.
I'm Parker. I'm son one.
I guess I'm son two. But as Dad would say, I hope you enjoyed that growl. It's kind of cringy.
Love that growl, man. It's the way to start the day. That's right. Parker, hair's getting a little long up top, buddy.
Yeah, look at this. Oh, yeah.
Some curls going in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
I'm trying.
I had that same haircut in high school.
Parker had a haircut when he was in high school where he would kind of flick his head.
Like the Bieber hair.
To get the Bieber bangs.
Now I just wear a hat.
That's right.
But we're so glad that you guys tuned in for another episode of the Three Bears podcast. Season 2, episode 2. Right. Today we're going to talk about leadership a little bit and transitions that go along with leadership, how to establish yourself kind of in those new roles. Because all three of us, if you watched our last podcast, you kind of understood the new roles that we all took over. So we kind of had to get ourselves established and to kind of put stuff into place pretty early on, because Dad's season started, school is starting here, and the same thing with Parker. Yeah. So if anybody's got any questions,
before we get started, let's find out what's been going on with the Three Bears since our last podcast. Parker, what's been happening in your world, man?
Nothing really crazy going on. Kind of getting this whole upwards thing starting to roll in the background. We're doing upwards in the spring, starting January. So I'm trying to figure out, because I've never done upwards. I don't really know what it is. So I know we share the gospel at halftime. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And but that's all I really know. I know we have the older kids, so it should be some good basketball. It's not like peewee kids like doing layups on a 3-foot basket. So
but
they play on 10-foot.
Watch though, man. It's some of the best stuff to watch.
It is, but they play on full court, 3-point line, 10-foot goal. Like, it should be some good games.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. That's been really it. Trying to figure out how to budget is fun. Like, I've never had to write out a budget. I've never had a budget. And like church work. So like budgeting is cool.
Yeah.
So,
that's neat stuff.
That's really it.
For me,
you not finished?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
That's it.
For me, life's just been going. I've been crazy busy, but it's all been good stuff. We've averaging close to 60 to 65 people every Wednesday night. We've been doing open gyms on Sunday nights where they have to show up to class. We just finished up our Next Step series. We had our decision night on Wednesday. So those kids made some the next step commitment for their life to Christ that Wednesday. And then I'm starting a Stranger Stories series in October about the Bazaar of the Bible. And then also on Sunday nights in October, going over The Things We Hide, which is a series on shame. So that's kind of what's been going on with me. Seminary's been rolling.
Rolling.
Have you speaking of rolling, I'm on my little scooter, man. Scoot. They see me rolling. That's right. Speaking of seminary, have you had any kind of one of those conversations in class where there's this big division or big conversation where everybody's kind of believe something different about something yet?
I guess not like something deep and theological, but one of our students, he who shall not be named.
Don't say names.
Yeah, don't say names. So we're doing a student body fantasy football league. Oh. And I'm currently 3-0 as of you're watching this. But me, I've always done for most leagues like a buy-in, like where people put money towards it and then you get the big pot. And there's like serious division about like this is not scriptural or this is messed up. And I was just like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It's $5. But that's just kind of what's been. That's like the only thing that I can think.
That's gambling.
That's right. So, big shout out to the Westminster Christian Academy Charger football boys who like to watch our podcast. Proud of those guys. Funniest thing about fantasy football I have ever heard: kid traded a player for a Popeyes chicken strip.
That's
So
desperate. That's called desperation.
it wasn't even a great player. He just wanted that chicken strip bad. So and he was so mad. He's like, still got that chicken strip yet. So no, things going good around here, man. Me and Mama staying busy. Practices are going long. We started out the season 2-0. Kind of left some things on the field last Friday night. Lost our first game, but we really think we can make a run here starting on this coming Friday against Ascension Christian. Interesting, we play Rohan Davey, who was a all SEC quarterback for LSU, and he's kind of coaching over there right now. So I'll be the second former player that I've been on the opposing side from. Trev Falk earlier in the Jamboree, and now Rohan, which is pretty cool. But I think we'll do really well. Boys are working hard this week, and church is going great. I know Peyton and Parker both. Y'all have had some additions at y'all's church. We 3 out of the 4 weeks so far in September, we've had baptisms at
That's all.
ABC, which is awesome. So we pulled out the old horse trough again, and even using the horse trough as a table in the back now when we're not using it for baptism. So be a little change when y'all come by the church house and see.
Mhm.
Speaking of, Parker, I got to get you down at some point in the next week to make sure all the bugs are out of our system. We've been having problems every weekend. You've been called, I know, the last 2 weekends, I think, to help out with some things. And
Mhm.
but we appreciate you answering the phone Sunday. I know y'all start church early, and Dylan was definitely helped by your conversation with him. But
Mhm.
no, things are going really, really good, and I'm really excited about this topic that we're going to be talking about because really, it's something we've all experienced and something that in ministry you're going to experience because you're going to start at a church and you're going to go to another church maybe or change ministry roles in a church and you have to reestablish yourself with a whole new group of people. It's for me, it's something that I had to do growing up. So it's not something I've really struggled with too much. But I'm curious on both of you guys. You both have found brand new people and really brand new even church models. Not that our churches are different, but size wise, our churches are different, and outlook and ministry styles are different for Parker. And so I'm just curious, kind of y'all's thoughts on it. Peyton, you're the one that really wanted to tackle this topic. So, I'm curious if you have any thoughts you want to start out with.
Yeah. So for me,
What was the topic? I don't think we ever like established it for people.
leadership and like establishing yourself, like what's something you wanted to establish. And
Reestablishing yourself in a new ministry group.
yeah,
There it is. Yeah.
um,
Just so we're clear. Yeah.
We'll put
so
that
for
in a
me,
font somewhere on the page. Will be a headline that says this is what we're talking about, a flashing neon. So I mean, you guys
Too
have
well,
much editing. Go. Too much editing. Go
too
ahead.
much editing. All right,
um,
that'll
so
do
for
it.
me, it was really weird adjusting from ABC where we had 30 to 35 members every Sunday going to 350.
Yeah.
So it's something that was really, really weird for me to transition. So, and I kind of came in at a weird time where school was like starting like the same day I moved.
Mhm.
So my biggest thing was establishing myself in an aspect of where people don't judge me by my age. That was one of the biggest things that I wanted to try to do is because people hear about at the time I was 20, a 20-year-old youth pastor moving, from his home to go to a church. It's kind of foreign to some people. So I really had to, I guess, show maturity in a way where I'm not coming up here just to, you know, collect a bill and not do anything. But it's been getting work done and seeing growth. And we've seen that. I mean, I baptized, I don't know, I didn't baptize anybody last time we did our last one
I don't
podcast. I
think
don't
so.
think.
Mm-mm.
It's like, I mean, I've baptized 4 kids since then, which is really awesome that the church gave me the opportunity to do that. Um, but that first week whenever I moved, establishing myself that don't define me by my age, but also that I'm willing to work. It was another thing that was huge to me, where I planned out pretty much our next 6 months to a year that first week. where I was planning events and making sure that there was something like a big event once every month, because I know that's what the church wanted at least. Um, but also emphasizing little things where these kids can bond with each other and grow as a youth group. And it's really worked out. Mom and dad say I need to slow down, that I'm like tired. And part of me is like, I feel like if I do that, I get complacent, if that makes sense. For the past 2 years of working in Lafayette, I was waking up every morning at 3 a.m. to going to work, school, seminary, and those different things. So navigating towards that to where I don't have a set schedule was really weird for me. And it's still really weird for me. I'm trying to find that balance between everything. So that's what I try to do to establish myself, was establish yourself as a worker, that you're here to work, and you want to see growth and you want to see the Lord move in the youth, but also don't let your age define you,
Yeah.
was my biggest thing.
What about, not only did you get reestablished or establish yourself in the leadership role at Promised Land, but you enrolled in seminary too, and you got a whole new group of people. Some of
Yeah.
them know you, some of them don't know you, and that's getting around a bunch of preachers is not always the easiest thing for somebody that's never been around a bunch of preachers. I know
And
that
that's and
experience.
that's one thing that's been kind of unique, I guess, because I kind of see ministry different than a lot of those guys, because I have a missionary background per se. Whenever I was in Lafayette, where at the age of 11 or 12, we literally had to work.
Yeah.
We were put to work in the church. So that's been very different, because I've seen it from a different aspect of how to grow a church rather than going into a church and then seeing growth. But starting something from ground zero and then building it up has been unique, where I get to kind of put my input on some things from the mission field. So reestablishing myself in that way was unique.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's really good stuff, man. It's you guys did, both of y'all did adult responsibilities as young people and really stepped up and did a great job in everything that y'all have done. And me and I was certainly a beneficiary of all those things. And fortunately, we've had guys that have stepped up and stepped in, are doing a great job too. And but you guys left big holes. Y'all did, and I want you to always know that. Parker, you just kind of got started there at Trinity, man. Things are rocking and rolling. You and brother Kevin seem to have a incredible
Mhm.
relationship, and the other staff. And you told me the other day you weren't even working; you were just playing pickleball all morning. I'm like,
Yeah.
what kind of a ministry is that? So, but I know
It's
it's a
pretty.
lot more than that. But what was it like for you to kind of get established? I know you're still in the middle of doing it too, and both of y'all still
Mhm.
are. But what's it like for you right now, bud?
I think, I mean, the biggest thing going into any ministry is, especially whenever you're new, um, something I like whenever we did Welcome Week, I was like, I'm gonna try and learn all these kids' names in like one day. And
Right.
it was easy because I was with them for, 8 hours a day. And like these were my 15, 20 freshmen that I was responsible for to make sure that they're okay at the end of this week to be fully functioning college students. Do you know everything you need to know? Well, you go into a new church setting and it's like, oh, I've seen this person for a solid 30 seconds and I've got to try and remember your name for the rest of my life and not embarrass myself by calling you someone's. So I've had to I think in any position, whenever you make a switch in ministry, you got, big thing for me is having to be comfortable asking someone's name again.
Mhm.
And that's been like really hard because I'm always a people person. I want to remember your name, but I can't. I'm dealing with 200 people that, I see some of these people for a minute and
Yeah.
it's like, it's nerve wracking for some people because some people, not a lot of people, some really unreasonable people, not in my experience here, but it's like, you don't remember my name. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I met you for 0.05 seconds
Yeah.
7 days ago. Like, I'm sorry, my B. And it's just, it's a weird thing. You got to be willing to ask someone a name, but also in transitioning is, um, into the leadership side of everything is how you establish yourself is, I think being willing to work within the parameters of what was previously set.
Mhm.
Um, and some of those parameters are good. But you also don't want to hop in week one and immediately just be like, change, 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 change. Now, some of those changes might be very good changes that need to happen. But I think you need to pick what is and what isn't a good immediate change that needs to happen.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like, for me, one of the things that I do is I do all the graphics for anything that's going to be besides our Trinity Youth page. We have a great graphic designer in the church. She's awesome. I'm like, hey, you got the youth page. She started it. I'm like, hey, whatever you need me to do, you need me to take pictures of y'all. I got you. But she's in charge of that, and like anything else that's posted, I've kind of been like, let me go, let me be the person that looks at it because we're trying to go through a whole reband, and we don't want to have to be going back and like deleting old stuff because it doesn't match whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one of the changes in leadership that like I kind of had to step in and fill that gap and be like, hey, here's how we're doing it now. Because that's part of the job I was hired as. I was a media guy. I was hired as a worship and media pastor.
Right.
Like, 50% of my job is Sunday morning worship. The other 50% or 40%, and then 10% of it being senior adult stuff. The other 40% of my job is media. I'm doing a weekly newsletter. I'm doing Sunday morning graphics, making sure everything looks right, has a look, and it looks cohesive and looks good. So kind of
Aesthetic.
aesthetic. Yeah, that's right. Um, but I think like being communicative, and I've been the best at it. Honestly, if there's anybody at Trinity that is watching, I've been the best at it of being communicative of why I'm making these changes because it's one of those things where it's hard to communicate within like 30 minutes of it happening. So I've sat down. We're going to sit down and have some meetings about everything, and it's just to kind of all get on the same page. But I think that's important is whenever you're hired, step up and do the job you're hired to do,
Sure.
and try and work within the parameters, and then make the big hard changes if they need to be done fast. Do it, but a lot of stuff, unless you're in a really, if you're handed down a really bad situation, a lot of the stuff you're going to be able to keep. That's what I think. So,
Yeah.
just for me, work within the parameters that are there, and then slowly make improvements on those. But if an immediate change needs to happen, you're hired for a reason. You were, called to be there for a reason. So
So,
you just need to
Dad,
do your job.
Yeah.
I
That's
know
hard.
I know you went from us coaching together to now you're at a really pretty much almost a brand new program in
Yeah.
essence. So, what's it been like for you, kind of navigating that transition to where we were at a really really successful program to kind of go into this brand new thing that y'all are trying to get started up?
Yeah, that's been it's been a really big change for me. Not only was it being as already really established in the middle school program that we were at, but going to the high school level where the demand is so much more and so much greater, more than I even really estimated that it was going to be. It's been a great thing though, but it's the for me there's a couple things. Number one, just be a servant. Just find a
Mhm.
way to make yourself available for whatever it is. Our coach asked me, that what I was comfortable with, and I said, well, I've always been an offensive line, defensive line guy. He said, well, I kind of need somebody to help me with the running backs and quarterbacks. And Peyton immediately laughed, just like he just did. And but
That's my area.
but I've done my best to be there and learn and see what's going on and notice the little nuances. I mean, our coach has been in this run this same program for years. I've only been around this kind of offense for 4 weeks, 6 months, I guess, or probably 2 months maybe. Not been much, and it's a whole lot more than that. Not turning left and turning right. There's so much more involved, but learning not only that, but why you do what you do because you're looking at the way running
Mhm.
backs should play roles. Not to get into any details, but when you're learning all those things, it's like you're drinking out of a fire hydrant, just, and I know
Mhm.
part of you felt that way when you were first getting started too, because it was just such a big job to do. And I feel there's such a big job for me to do. But, I went in there, first of all, thinking that I need to teach these high school kids all these little things that I've seen everybody else do. And fortunately, our coach did several things for me. Number one, when I came on, he introduced me as a guy that came from a very successful middle school program, and they do it right, and we do. So that gave me some credit or
Mhm.
credit with the boys. But also he sent me an email. He said, "Hey, this is the kind of stuff I want on defense," and I was like, oh, "Thank goodness, this is what I've always done." So I was able to move right into that. So I was able to kind of stay comfortable in being uncomfortable at the same time. And we've always tried to be that way. But then, of course, I had the Achilles injury, and now I'm having to modify everything that I do. Like I can't show the boys the move that I need them to do. I have to verbalize it or tell one of the other assistant coaches that's with me, "Hey, can you show the guys this?" And then he's like, "Sure, man, no problem." He jumps right in and helps. And so I've had to rely on a lot of help for that. But like one of the things that I told the guys, we don't have managers. It's just up to us. So one of the things that we do is it's called pitch drill, where we just run with the quarterbacks and the running backs, and we run our plays. But we have the hose or the pipe or the hose, whatever it is. It's center, guards, tackles, ends. It's a big yellow thing. It's in a blue bag. You get it out, you roll it out, you throw it out there. So first thing I do is I scoot down to the shed, I get it out, I scoot all the way across the field and I lay it out. Today, our quarterback David, he said, "Coach, you're spoiling us with this, man. Why? What's going on?" I said, "Man, I'm just trying to keep Coach happy and make myself useful." And that's really what I'm trying to do. Just do what I'm supposed to do and what I can do when you're limited. And sometimes anybody that's listening to this that is concerned about this in ministry, there are times, Parker, like you're saying, that you are hired to do a job, but there's these existing parameters that hinder you from being able to make the changes that you want to make or the things
Mhm.
that you need to do. And you just have to be patient and bide your time and know that you're trusted and then step through the doors of opportunity. But the reason this transition was a little bit easier for me, and this is what I wanted to share, is being a military kid, your mom and Paul Boo moved us all over the place, and I had to start over every couple of years. I lived in Patrick Air Force Base in Florida for 4 years, and then I left. Third grade was spent at Platt Elementary School. And then we left, and I spent 2 years in New Jersey. And then after he retired, we came back. And I was fortunate to be able to stay sixth through 12th grade with the same people. But those early years in elementary school helped me to know how to just kind of relate to people and get along with people and find your people and commit to those people and just be part of the group. It's kind of one of the things that we were able to do, and I've tried to follow those things all my life. And I feel like for you two guys, the stuff that you've experienced in your childhood is something that's helped y'all through these transitions as well. I think back to Peyton, you just went to check out Promised Land. You weren't expecting a vote that night. You didn't even preach for them. You just had an interview and talked with them and shared your heart, and you had served in other areas, and they called you without you even preaching a single sermon, which is pretty much unheard of. But you're
Thanks
seeing
for being.
you're seeing the benefit of that too with the revival you guys are having. It's not because of you.
Yeah.
It's not because of Brother Josh. It's not because of Brother Paul. It's because the Lord and the church as a whole is availing themselves to the Lord. That's something else we can talk about in another podcast about how revival can break out. But I'm proud of both you boys. You guys are making me
Well,
very
thank
proud
you.
of what y'all are doing. And
Well, I think
that's go ahead.
I think something you said a second ago about moving around, it made me think of this thought that like, yes, we are in the business of ministry, and part of that ministry is like following the Lord's will. But I think another big portion of that is that we're also in the people business. Like I think a big portion of being a minister is being able to um just be a little bit not extroverted, but just being able to deal with people, whether good, bad, when they're hurting. Uh, Being a people person is a big part of being a minister. You got to be able to
Yeah.
be around people. I think that's something you said is like you got to be comfortable just meeting new people and
Yeah.
uh, just becoming friendly with them.
Well,
So,
a huge part of that, and we've talked about it a lot, and me and Brother Josh have, is visibility goes a long way.
mhm.
If people see that, okay, they're showing up to the little things that people may not think matters,
Yeah.
or they're putting in time with these kids for something that seems insignificant, but they love it. And there's a lot of people maybe watching this who have no leadership role, or somebody sent you this. If we can kind of tell you anything about leadership, and none of us have mastered it by any means, is visibility goes a long way. Just put yourself out there and be willing to serve. Um, get plugged into a church, because there's churches all across America who just want people who have a heart just to serve other people.
Well, that's a good
Uh,
point.
who
Mhm.
but what's crazy is you're not going to find a lot of churches that go out and ask for people to, hey, can you come help us? But if you go up and say, establish yourself and, hey, I want to be visible, I want to lead, I want to serve, then you'll see the doors that open because of that willingness to want to do more.
Yeah,
So I think that goes a long way, is visibility and
absolutely.
desire.
Yeah. Yeah. Willingness
Mhm.
and visibility are all huge aspects of ministry and what God's called us to, guys. And I'm really fortunate that we, have kind of been blessed in that area. And
Yeah.
like I said, me and your mom are very proud of both you guys. And you guys, we hear good things from y'all's churches and see and hear good things. And so we're really, really thankful for all that. But guys, y'all have anything else today? I mean, we have a kind of a shorter than normal podcast for us, but
Um, I mean, we talked about controversy in the beginning about is putting money into the pot gambling. There's another
oh,
controversy that has been stirred up.
controversy. Is there
Controversy.
controversy? Yeah.
Do we want to bring this one up?
Is that about a certain song lyric? Is that it?
You
Yeah,
can
it
bring it
is.
up.
Do we want to
It
go
is.
there?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right. So I'll
yes.
set the stage. I was in homiletics class, not homiletics class. I was in systematic theology class last week, and we were talking about he is jealous for us. The guy put the lyric out there, and I said, "Hey, Brother Frank, did you know that the original line is not unforeseen kiss? It's actually sloppy wet kiss." And he
Yep.
said, "Really?" And all the other guys were like, "Yeah, that's kind of a thing that's out there." And at Next Camp this year, repping Next Camp as always, love Next Camp.
Uh-huh.
At Next Camp, the band this summer we're there worshiping and everything's going great. We're all there on the front row, and all of a sudden I hear, the phrase "sloppy wet kiss," and I'm like, "Wait, what? What's happening here? Sorry." Squeeze me, what's going on, and so Parker was leading that song this Sunday and asked us to like for unforeseen down or exclamation point for sloppy wet
Uh-huh.
kiss, and we were
It
of
was in
course
our family group chat.
our family group
Yeah.
chat. That's right. And if you, by the way, think that your family doesn't have a group chat, you're wrong. You're just not in it. So that's something for everybody
Yep.
to know. But so that really, it wasn't so much that question. Okay. I don't
No.
care if you're an unforeseen kiss or a sloppy wet kiss person as far as the song goes,
Mhm.
but it did kind of make me wonder about what is appropriate and what is inappropriate in churches. Are things more cultural than they are biblical? And is that a wrong thing? Is it a wrong thing? For example, here's my example for you guys. Every one
Mhm.
of us is wearing one of these indoors right now. What about rolling into church on a Sunday morning with your hat on and you keep your hat on? What are your
For
thoughts?
me, I mean, I've led worship in a hat before, not on a Sunday morning, but at conferences because I understand in the churches I served, that happened, I'm causing the controversy. It's not the hat. It's, oh, that guy's our hired holy man. Why the heck is he wearing a hat?
Hired holy
Um,
man. Boom.
Dude,
What
I've
have y'all
never
never
heard
heard that
that.
phrase?
I don't like that
hired
though.
holy
I
man.
don't like that.
That's a
HHM.
phrase.
Hired holy man.
Just call yourself a
I'm
high
getting
priest.
just talked about something new. But I mean, that's causing a controversy, and I'm doing it on purpose. I think in that context, it's a no,
Yeah.
obviously. But if it's a camp, and some of these lights are bright. I don't think y'all understand. Like these stage lights, like I'm blinded sometimes.
Yeah,
But
that's
like
true. That's actually a good point. It serves more function over style. I can see
it
Nine
really does.
for me, 9 times out of 10, the reason I'm wearing a hat is because my hair is messed up.
that's right.
But
Nine times out of 10. It's not
but
because of something.
I think the hat one is more of a church thing. Some people have the issue with it. It's not culturally it's acceptable now to wear a hat inside of a building. I mean,
In
I
some
wore
parts of
a,
the country.
in some parts of the country.
Yeah.
It's not okay in Hamburg, probably. No, I'm just kidding.
By
Uh,
Peyton's hand up, I'm assuming it's not. Peyton.
No.
but I
So,
can't really think of anything else that is weird. Sorry.
I'm
Anyway,
raising
go
my
ahead.
hand here.
Excuse me.
No. So if we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty of the heaven meets earth like an unforeseen kiss, David Crowder. Okay, let me just if you listen, if you want to know history about me and David Crowder, like this, and I'll tell you all my story about David Crowder. Me and David Crowder don't get along. And that's a funny story. If you want to hear it next podcast, just let us know. But David Crowder censored that song to Unforeseen Kiss.
He
Yeah.
didn't censor it.
I believe because of the appropriateness. But whenever I think of the line sloppy wet kiss, it brings me to a dog who goes up and kisses, its owner because it's in so much love, if that makes sense. It has nothing, it knows nothing else like Murphy.
More than
Um,
sleep on your bed.
but like for example, Fido, if you have like a dog named Fido or whatever, Fido goes up to its owner and kisses it because it loves it so much. It's a sloppy wet kiss. It's an unconditional type of love. That's what like the example that I get in my head. So like whenever I don't want to be singing about Fido in the middle while I sing that song,
Oh, okay.
I'd rather sing
Yeah. Well, so
Unforeseen Kiss.
the argument the other way is that unforeseen kiss is almost like there's not been a invitation. It's kind of been just unexpected, and
There's no
right now
consent. We'll just
there's
say
no
it. There's no
consent.
consent.
But I believe that word is in reference to a situation like your mother and I, where just out of nowhere for no reason, there's just a kiss given. It gives you the warm fuzzies, and you guys know that. And you're married and basically engaged right now. It gives you those warm fuzzies when you feel that, and just talking about the love that we experience from the Lord. I think it remains in that context personally. But yeah, I just think you're going to catch people off guard if you throw out there the sloppy wet kiss. It's just it borders on it. It's just an inappropriate phrase. Even at a wedding, Peyton's
Mhm.
maybe planning a wedding soon, not trying to put any pressure. You know, Parker just got married, a little over a year ago, and I know I got out of the way when him and Maddie had their first kiss, but I've seen those first kisses that are inappropriate even at a wedding. It's like you're basically making out in front of God and everybody. It's just inappropriate. So what's the rule? What's the length of time? I don't know. You know,
3 minutes. Sorry.
yeah, we're not going to get into it, Ari. That's not. It's just one of those things. I think we all have a pretty good sense if you are a conservative individual who is chaste and concerned about the well-being of others, and not making other people uncomfortable, then you kind of know what the line of appropriateness is. It kind of goes with the hat too. Like I think last Sunday or last Wednesday, not last Sunday, last Wednesday, I think I wore a hat to Bible study for the first time. I came straight from practice. It was, I know,
I'm telling Jesus.
it's,
He already knows.
He already knows.
That's right.
Yeah, but I got to keep the sun off of my face as best I can. So I have a hat on. And I didn't. My hair was a mess. So a lot of our guys wear hats on Wednesday nights anyway. Peyton always did. So since
Not,
Peyton
not,
already did,
not anymore.
no, not anymore. You
Hmm.
know, that's
He's
right.
bringing the word.
That's right. So yeah, I think
Anyways,
it's a matter of appropriateness, in my opinion.
I know we've kind of gone longer in this podcast, but we hope you guys have enjoyed. I know we talked about something serious about leadership. But again, going back to all of it, just be willing just to serve, no matter where it is. And you may
That's right.
think that I'm doing something like just teaching a Sunday school class. Well, if that's your way of serving, then God recognizes it as something that may be
That's right.
something extravagant. So
Absolutely.
don't think that your role is too small or too insignificant in a church. At least you're doing something.
Yeah.
And we applaud you for that. We will either be back next week or the week after that. Our schedules are kind of all crazy, so we have to figure it out at a time.
You know, and as
Yeah.
always, like and subscribe. We'd love to have all of you guys on board.
Share this. Share this with other
Share
people.
this, put it on
That's
the
right.
Facebook and share it out with everybody else. We appreciate you guys listening and enjoy getting to do this with the guys, with the boys. That's all we have for you today. Have a wonderful time. And as always, the Three Bears will see you next time.
See y'all.